Chapter 28. The Golden Rule. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbour, and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbour as thyself. I am the Lord. Leviticus 19, 17 and 18. In the New Testament, we see the Golden Rule cited in Matthew 7:12, 22:35-40, and Luke 6:31. Our Lord tells us in Matthew 7:12, "This is the law and the prophets." Compare Matthew 22:40. In other words, the essence of the law is the love of God and the love of our neighbour, so that every law given by God has this as its goal. The love of our neighbour cannot be reduced to an emotion or a feeling. To love God means to obey His law. As our Lord tells us, "If ye love me, keep my commandments." John 14:15. If we keep God's commandments, we thereby manifest our love towards Him. If we keep God's law with regard to our neighbour, we do not kill. We respect his life as God-given, not under our jurisdiction, except in a God-given ordained court of law. We do not commit adultery to destroy his marriage. We respect its sanctity. We do not steal because we respect his property, nor do we bear false witness against him, thereby protecting his good name and God's law. Neither do we covet anything that is his, so that, in word, thought, and deed, we manifest love towards him. For love is the fulfilling or putting into force of the law. Romans 13:8, Exodus 20:13-17. Our love of neighbour means keeping God's law in relationship to him, and this is a powerful social force, whereas our claim to an emotional love is usually a shallow deception, or at best a small thing compared to God's law. To love our neighbour as ourselves means that we give him the same protection of God's law that we ourselves want. The peace and security of life and property which we want, we give to others by placing God's law first. We are not the premise of social order, nor is our neighbour, but God is. We therefore can best express a love for our neighbour through our obedience to God's law. No human penalty is attached to this law. Social disorder and anarchy are the God-ordained penalties, but God both blesses and punishes more thoroughly than man can. Before World War II, much use was made of the Golden Rule in public discourse. This has since ended, so that many are ignorant of what it was, and in practice, there is too often hostility to other people.